witnessed some greatness this weekend. Quincy hit a PB 45.17, beating his former PB 45.19. Now I was there to see that 45.19 in Gainesville, Florida a couple weeks ago. Now I was there to see his second PB 45.17. I'm seeing a trend here. Me being at Quincy's 400 races ends up with him PBing. I need to go to the next one, so we might see 44. But let's talk about the context behind his run this weekend, because I think that's important. Yes, he did PB, but what happened around the run was way more important than the actual run. I want to get into that a little bit. But before we talk about the 45.17 from this week, I want to talk about the 44 that he split last week. At the Penn Relays, he split 44.3, which is the fastest high school split ever in Penn Relays history. Remember, he's only 16 years old, so he's going to be running that Penn for multiple times before he's out of high school. But what was more impressive about that run was that he came back later on that even and split 44.6, the second fastest time at Penn Relays history. So he has the first and the second, and he did both of those in one day. So what that tells me, he's in great shape. As a former quarter miler myself, I knew that I was in great shape when I could run a 400 and come back and run a 4x4 that same day. That means practice is really hitting at the moment. Whatever he's doing in practice means he's probably walking off those practices. He's in great shape, which is good because it's May, so he's coming up on that time of year. As somebody that's thinking about the Olympic trials, you really want to be in good shape leading up into the rest of the year, and he has a lot faster to go. Now, Penrose was impressive, so everyone is expecting a sub 45 run this week. But we're not going to talk about expectations of sub 45. We're going to talk about what happened in Maryland this weekend. There was a few factors affecting that race outside of just the run. It was cloudy, it was windy, and it was raining. A lot of people seen the race and they probably couldn't have told all of that, but it was really 50 degrees. And if you remember, the 100 meters was giving negative wind, and that was ran on the home stretch, which means that Quincy was facing a wind to his chest when he was coming home. And he's only 16, so he's not huge. So that wind probably affected him a great deal coming home, but he still pushed through it. Before I talk about performance a little bit, I need to talk about the mentality of running that race. There's a lot of people who couldn't deal with that cold. A lot of people didn't want to run in that weather. Yes, Quincy Wilson may live in Maryland already and have dealt with that cold to some extent, but going out there competing on a 400, trust me, I know the thing that you have to tell yourself, like, you're already going to run a hard race. I know you're going to run it in harsh condition. You have to have a certain type of mentality that helps you push through that, and that really speaks to the type of athlete that he is and will be. Because even though he's a top guy in the event, he still wanted to go out there and compete. But let's jump back to the weather factors that affected the race. He went out there and executed a really good race. He got out hard, pushed on the backstretch, held up the top curve, and then he came on strong despite the wind, despite there being rain, and despite there being cloudy, no sun. His warm-up before the race was really good, making sure he got his body ready to go out there and put on a good performance. But that weather definitely wasn't ideal for track and field. Track and field is an outdoor sport. And from this weekend, he couldn't have gotten worse weather to run a 400 in. But guess what? He still went out there and did it. But it leaves you to think, what if he did have good weather? What if it was sunny? What if it was 80 degrees? What if the wind was low? What would he have ran, right? I think one of the main things I learned about Quincy Wilson this weekend is that he has a strong mentality and will push through anything. The times will come, but I'm telling you, that 45.17 isn't the true time. He has a lot more in the tank, and I'm excited to see what's going to happen. But at the same time, I don't want us to put too much pressure on what he should run, right? He's 16 years old. He has a lot of time to develop. We don't want to say, hey, he's going to run this time or that time. Because at the end of the day, you might be limiting him. Whatever time you think he should run, he's probably thinking he should go faster. Somebody who's going for greatness is always aiming beyond something. And if your goals don't scare people, you need bigger goals. So I'm looking forward to seeing Quincy run for the rest of the season. I'm hoping I'm going to be there the next time he PBs. I've seen 2 PBs this year so far. I'm looking forward to the third one.